Now Sarah mentioned over 4,000 institutions of higher learning in the United States. Out of those 4,000, there are over 1,000 in the US that offer graduate degrees. Only 131 of them are considered R1 with very high research activity. Another 125 are classified as R2, high research activity. What is this classification and what does it mean for you? The classification of US higher education institutions is called the Carnegie Classification. Starting in 1970, the Carnegie Commission on Higher Education developed a classification of colleges and universities to support its program of research and policy analysis. The classification is updated and published every few years. A leading framework for describing institutional diversity in US higher education, it is now managed by the Indiana University Center for Post-Secondary Research. Data comes from surveys conducted by the US Department of Education's National Center for Education Statistics. These three categories of institutions, R1, R2, and doctoral professional, are called doctoral universities in the Carnegie Classification. They all award at least 20 research scholarship doctoral degrees in a year, or at least 30 professional practice doctoral degrees in at least 2 programs. Now, by research scholarship doctoral degree, I do not mean scholarship as in BECA or money toward the cost of your degree. I mean scholarship as production of new knowledge, such as books and articles in scholarly journals. A PhD program is this kind of degree. In a PhD program, you conduct research and generate new knowledge or theory. In a professional practice doctorate, you look at existing bodies of knowledge to see what theories have been created. Then you raise questions to solve problems and apply theories to practice in your field. The first 2 categories, R1 and R2, include only institutions that awarded at least 20 research scholarship doctoral degrees in a year and had at least $5 million in total research expenditures. Research expenditures are reported through the National Science Foundation's Higher Education and Development Survey. Now you see on the left that the Carnegie Classification is not a ranking, but it does identify similarities and differences among institutions. It does not imply quality differences, and its purpose is to assist with research. Now the remaining the Carnegie Classification, in addition to these 3 for doctoral institutions, includes other categories of higher education institutions, such as master's colleges and universities. These are institutions that awarded at least 50 master's degrees, but you guessed it, fewer than 20 doctoral degrees during the year. The next category is baccalaureate colleges. So a bachelor's degree or higher degree represent at least 50% of all degrees at such institutions, but baccalaureate colleges offer fewer than 50 master's degrees or 20 doctoral degrees in a year. So by degrees, I mean people graduating with a degree, not the number of programs. The 4 remaining categories are baccalaureate/associate's colleges, which offer both kinds of degrees, but more than 50% of the degrees are awarded at the associate's level, like Frank mentioned for St. Petersburg College. There are also associate colleges where the highest degree is an associate's 2-year degree. There are special focus institutions such as in health, medicine, arts, and design, and there are tribal colleges, which are members of the American Indian Higher Education Consortium. So those are the Carnegie classifications. Why does it matter to you? Find the program that fits you in whatever type of institution it's located. Maybe the institution you find awards a small number of master's or doctoral degrees, but it offers the specialization you seek. That's great. Or you may find your fit at a research university, meaning a doctoral university, R1, R2, or doctoral professional for your master's degree, PhD, or professional practice doctorate. A research university is not just a place where we learn, but it's a place where we discover, because new knowledge is created. Creating new knowledge makes the university continually new. It renews the institution. It also attracts faculty to want to come. For example, CUA was founded as a graduate university for research in the late 1800s. Bachelor's degree programs started in the early 1900s. The first member of the CUA faculty established a research institute and donated his personal library collection to be accessible to future researchers. As another example, the first wind tunnel built at any college or university campus was constructed at CUA in 1901. Dr. Zahm, a CUA professor of mechanics, was a world-renowned engineer at the time. CUA still has a mechanical engineering department in the School of Engineering with cutting-edge research going on. Also at CUA, Martha Euphemia Lofton Haynes in 1943 was the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in mathematics in the United States. So these examples are to show that research universities have a culture that invests in research efforts. Professors bring what they have learned into the classroom, giving you access to the cutting edge in your field. You get a chance to be part of groundbreaking research that could influence society in the future. In our department, economics, for example, we have high research activity going on, but the primary focus of our faculty is still on students and on teaching. Part of what faculty are teaching is how to research. Each student in the MA Integral Economic Development completes a faculty-mentored applied research project. Next slide, please. Now back to the Carnegie classifications. Here you see the variables used to differentiate R1 and R2 universities. The first variable is research and development expenditure. How much money does the university get from external grants to fund science and engineering, S&E, also called STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Research and development. So for example, CUA gets grants from the National Aeronautical Space Agency, NASA, the National Science Foundation, and the US Department of Energy to fund research. The grants fund graduate student tuition, fees, and stipends, and funds are used to buy equipment. The US federal government, as I mentioned, those three examples, as well as private foundations and individual donors fund university research. Now, non-S&E research and development expenditure means funds for the humanities and the social sciences. The next variable measured is S&E research staff. This is the number of postdoctorates and non-faculty staff with doctorates or the terminal degree in their field. They can teach a class, but they are not tenure-track faculty, and they mainly do postdoctoral research. At CUA, we have nearly 100 such staff conducting research. The third variable is the number of doctoral degrees conferred in a year in each of the following areas. In the humanities, so in history, English, philosophy, theology, politics, and other humanities fields. In the social sciences, such as in economics, in STEM, and in the professional fields, such as in law and in nursing. And the final variable is the number of full-time tenure-track faculty and the total research dollars divided by the number of such faculty members. Next slide, please. I'll close quickly with a word about funding for your graduate degree. In the US, funding is specific to the institution and the degree program to which you apply. Some partial tuition scholarships and some full tuition scholarships are available depending on the year and the program. Some programs provide fellowships for paid work on campus, for teaching assistants, or for research assistants. Some programs award a stipend, which are funds toward your living costs. Funding is highly competitive, and funds are not available for all graduate students. As an example, Ms. Helguero Received a partial tuition scholarship from the MA Integral Economic Development Management at CUA. She also assisted in teaching Spanish language classes with a paid TA position as a teaching assistant. Next slide, please. Here is Red, studying on the beautiful lawn in front of the building where I work at CUA. He is our university mascot. Our mascot is a cardinal, a red bird. Red will be here to welcome you if you attend CUA. He cannot answer all your questions, but next slide, you can contact me, Deborah Egan at egan@cua.edu. Gracias y buena suerte.